It was supposed to be just another quiet Saturday on my ranch. The sun was out, the horses were calm, and I was finally catching a break after a long week. But then, I heard the rumble of tires on gravel and saw a line of expensive cars pulling up to my property. At first, I figured someone had gotten lost. Happens more often than you'd think. But when the music started blasting and a crowd of teenagers began spilling out, dressed like they were heading to a Hollywood party, I knew something was off. And that's when I met him, Karen's son. You know the type: designer shades, flashy attitude, the kind of confidence only money and a lack of real-world experience can buy. He strolled up like he owned the place, waved his phone around, and told me I needed to clear out because they were using my land for his big summer bash. Claimed his mom, the head of the HOA, had made arrangements. Only problem, I don't live in a neighborhood with an HOA. This is a working ranch. And Karen, she's never had authority out here, just loud opinions and a habit of sticking her nose where it doesn't belong. I asked him calmly to pack up and leave, but he laughed in my face. Told me I didn't look like I belonged here. He had no idea I was the sheriff for this entire county. No idea he was standing on private land, ordering the wrong person around. And as more cars kept rolling in and the music got louder, I realized this was about to become much more than just a party gone wrong. But I didn't blow up. Not yet. I had a plan and I was going to let him walk straight into it. You won't believe what happened when Karen herself showed up, thinking she could pull rank over the law. Karen showed up about 15 minutes later, stepping out of a sleek black SUV like she was walking a red carpet. Big sunglasses, oversized sun hat, iced coffee in hand. Iced coffee in hand, every bit the picture of someone who thought the world revolved around her. She didn't even glance at me at first. Just marched right past and started barking orders at the party planner, who'd apparently set up tables, lights, and even a dance floor, all on land that wasn't theirs. Now, here's a little background. Karen's been a thorn in my side for years, ever since she moved into that gated community down the road. She's been trying to organize everything around her, from complaining about the smell of livestock to suggesting we pave the gravel roads to raise property value. She's never missed a chance to try and control what doesn't belong to her and her son. Let's just say the apple didn't fall far from the drama tree. Turns out, she told him the backfield of my ranch was part of common HOA property. Problem is, she never actually checked any records. That patch of land, it's been in my family for 3 generations. Granddad ran cattle through there. My dad taught me to ride on that stretch of pasture. It's not some shared green space, it's home. But when I tried to explain that calmly, she gave me that fake smile, the kind people use when they think you're beneath them. She said I was mistaken and that her son had cleared it with the board. Again, there is no board here. There's just me, my badge, and my property line. She didn't want to hear it, though. She was too busy making sure the catering truck didn't block the view of the barn she kept calling a cute, rustic backdrop. And all the while, more kids kept arriving. The music got louder. Drones flew overhead. Someone even brought a mini stage. I stood there, watching it all unfold, knowing things were about to hit a wall. But I let it ride for just a little longer, because when the moment came to shut it all down, I wanted there to be no doubt exactly who they were messing with. As the party rolled on, things started getting out of hand. A few of the teenagers wandered too close to the stables, spooking the horses. Someone set off a smoke bomb near the dry brush at the edge of the field. Thankfully, it fizzled out before it turned into a full-blown wildfire. But it was clear, these kids had no idea where they were or what kind of danger they were flirting with. They treated the ranch like a rental venue, not real land with real risks. Meanwhile, Karen kept acting like she had everything under control. She even tried introducing me to some of the guests, spinning a story about how I was the caretaker who would make sure everything ran smoothly. I didn't say much, just nodded, watching and waiting. She had no idea who she was talking to, not just the property owner, but the sheriff of this county. I wasn't in uniform, and I wasn't wearing my badge, but that was by choice. Sometimes, people reveal more when they think you're nobody, while all that chaos unfolded outside. I slipped into the barn where my deputy, Mark, had already set up a few trail cams and was quietly recording everything. Mark's been with me for years. Grew up just a few miles down the road. He couldn't believe what he was seeing either. "They really think they can take over your land for a party?" he whispered, shaking his head. I just told him, let it play out. We'll step in when it counts. What made it worse was hearing some of the teens talk. A few of them were underage, drinking from open coolers. One girl said she thought this was some influencer's ranch that had been rented for content. Turns out Karen's son had been bragging on social media, saying this was their family's private estate invites only. And now kids were arriving from out of town, thinking it was some celebrity-style event. He even had a drone crew filming like it was a music video. And Karen? She was too busy posing for pictures near my fence line, acting like she built this place from the ground up. She had no clue the storm that was coming. The sun started to dip low, casting long shadows across the pasture. But the party was only getting louder. Cars were now parked all along the gravel road, blocking access for my neighbors and anyone trying to get through. One of them, old Mr. Garcia from the ranch over, called me, frustrated that kids had parked right in front of his cattle gate. He couldn't even get his truck out. That was the last straw for me. Inside the barn, I checked in with Mark again. He had already captured more than enough footage to document everything: trespassing, underage drinking, property damage. I told him to stay close but not step in yet. I wanted Karen and her son to dig themselves in just a little deeper. I'd seen people like them before used to getting their way, never thinking consequences would apply to them. But on this land, the law doesn't bend for entitlement. Back outside, I walked toward the stage they had set up in the middle of the field. The music was blaring so loud, the ground was actually vibrating under my boots. Karen's son was standing on stage now, mic in hand, soaking up attention like he was some kind of star. He was thanking the fans for coming out, bragging about the family ranch and how this is how the HOA throws a real party. People were cheering completely, unaware that none of what he said was true. Then, to make matters worse, a firework shot off. It whistled up into the air and popped right over the dry hill behind my barn. My heart dropped. One wrong spark, and that hill would go up like tinder. I grabbed the nearest cooler and dumped water on the small pile of leftover fireworks nearby, just in case. That's when I saw Karen pull out a clipboard. She was walking around my barn, pointing things out to some event staff. I heard her say something about permanent changes and making this a seasonal venue. That's when I knew this wasn't just a one-time thing. She had plans, big ones, ones that didn't include asking permission. And now it was time for me to remind them exactly whose land they were standing on, just as I was about to step forward and shut the whole thing down. A black SUV with tinted windows pulled up near the front gate. It wasn't one of the partygoers' vehicles, Matt. This one moved with purpose. The door opened and out stepped a man in a suit, clean cut, clipboard in hand, with the kind of posture that said authority. He walked straight toward Karen, who lit up like she'd been waiting for him all day. Turns out, this guy was a real estate developer. Karen had been in talks with him behind the scenes, pitching my land as the perfect location for a private luxury event space. She had plans drawn up and everything tense, permanent fixtures, even a gravel parking lot that would run right through the west pasture. While I had been minding my own business, working this ranch the same way my family always had, Karen had been scheming to turn it into a cash-making machine without even owning an inch of it. The developer scanned the area like he was already sizing things up. I stayed in the shadows, listening. Karen was explaining how the local sheriff was on board and eager to support community growth. I had to laugh at that one. She was using my name to sell a lie right to my face, and had no idea I was standing just a few yards away. Then I heard the part that really got my blood boiling. Karen claimed she had easement rights through an old property agreement. She said she could prove the land wasn't legally protected against shared use and had started filing paperwork at the county office. That's when it hit me she wasn't just trespassing. She was trying to take legal control of my family's land. This wasn't just a party. It was a takeover, dressed up in string lights and summer music. And all around us, people kept dancing, clueless about the storm building in plain sight. I looked over at Mark, who gave me a nod. We both knew it was time to act. But just before I stepped forward, Karen's son got on the mic again. What he said next stopped me in my tracks. Karen's son raised the mic again, grinning like he was the king of the world. "Let's give it up for my mom, the future owner of this place," he shouted. "And shout out to the SH.